Have you ever noticed the convergence of saltwater with freshwater without mixing with each other? The first scientists who noticed the existence of a barrier between fresh groundwater and the salty sea waters are the Dutch scientist Baden-Gijben in 1888 and the German scientist A. Herzberg in 1901. This is why the relationship was called the Gijben-Herzberg relationship. The relationship is based on the fact that the density of the saltwater exceeds the density of the freshwater by 40 to 41%. The two scientists have found a barrier between saltwater and freshwater, which prevents salt molecules from spreading between the saltwater and the freshwater. Which is contrary to the natural law that says, the molecules in liquid and gas spread from the most concentrated area to the less concentrated area. This barrier is an area with a specific thickness, in which the concentration of salt gradually decreases from the saltwater to the freshwater, which is called brackish water or fresh-salt mixture. Scientists named that water barrier, saltwater-freshwater interface or transition. The words of the Quran that describe this water barrier are very precise. It has been described with the word barzakh, which means interface or barrier. That word is known in Arabic as a transition state between two different states. And for the word hijr, which describes this barrier as a block or partition, which blocks or prevents any object from entering to it, and that is exactly done by this barrier or water isthmus. It prevents the entry of saltwater from the salty seas, to the freshwater in the fresh seas. The verse, between them is a barrier, so neither of them transgresses, expresses the main function of this water isthmus, which prevents the flow and mixing of saltwater with freshwater of the two seas, and vice versa. One of the verses that talks about water isthmus, also confirmed that this phenomenon occurs mainly when salty seas and fresh seas meet.
In our best days, the Sea of Galilee used to be just by the edge of the grass that you see here. It's like a bank. If you don't put money in the bank and you're just taking out your money all the time, you go bankruptcy. We don't want to go bankruptcy. We want to have a nice lake like as the old days.
Here is not Tel Aviv, so it's far away from a lot of ice, and they don't see exactly what is mean no water. Because there, in Tel Aviv, they see the fish in the supermarket and the water that they see in the bottle. Here, we know how we catch the fish and we know from where comes the water. The level of the lake destroyed the tourism here. People don't feel good to come here and to see half a glass of beer. They want to see full of glass of beer.